or what most people believe we are in the 3D, even though a lot of people think we have miraculously ascended to the 4th D, 5th D, and possibly a 6th D as a collective. Individually, hell yeah. Individually, hell yeah. There are many people who operate from a higher level of energetic awareness, and this is not always about that bullshit y'all call enlightenment. From my perspective, this is not about enlightenment. How much I learned, it's how many points of deception have I let go of? How unhinged from the things that hold me into this realm have I learned to release? If you do any kind of work with any levels of spirits, again, apply whatever label you want. Most of them will try and tell you that you need to learn how to release. Peace to you all. Peace to you all. So think about it in the sense of a hot air balloon. The more of the bags you let out of the basket itself, the higher the balloon goes. So in the sense of speaking of dimensionality, the less baggage you hold on to, the higher your spirit ascends in this, again, for me, this illusion of separation. One thing you hear me say is that from my perspective and experience, within the field of separation, you have the infinite possibility to separate yourself, and you have the right and the ability to create reasoning for why you're in separation. So instead of just saying, holy shit, this separation ain't real, let me put myself back together, you can create different layers within that separation and start to make sense of all of them. One thing I've always asked spirits for probably at least the last 5 years that I know about is, if you transition from this realm here, the third dimension, so to speak, why are you still hanging around in other dimensions trying to complete lessons? If you tap back into source, if you transition here and you now have the ability to go anywhere else that you want to, why are you sticking around on lower level missions such as learning what love is? Sorry if that offends you if you think learning what love is a lower level mission, because I do. Because I think you can't learn what love is until you learn who you are. But again, in dimensionality, if you are now viewing yourself in separation, you don't own who you are. You're just owning what you see of yourself in the experience of where you have now found yourself in dimensionality. So before that confuses the fuck out of somebody, to me, it may be a trick and a trap of the mind to keep telling yourself that I have to go from dimension to dimension. Is just as bad as saying I got to go from life lesson to life lesson. So dimensionality falls in the same fucking category as the Akashic Records with me. It's mental traps and ascertainments of reasoning to try and make sense of something that you shouldn't have never gave your sense to in the first place. And we all fall prey to it because, again, as I keep trying to tell you, within a collective consciousness, every part of the collective has to learn to collect itself, or there will still be the continuation of separation. I can put me 100% together by standards. You can be holding yourself 100% apart. There's only going to be the common denominator of what I work with and what you want. So again, I could put a call out, because even though I don't honor this stuff, I understand it. I understand the way the mind works within separation, and you cannot just shut out separation because it's a condition. So being that would it be, I'm going to reach out for whatever representatives from this illusion, because again, you'll hear me say it's all me, whatever versions of myself or something that does not honor itself as being me, that wants to come present and give a representation through the cards of what its goal is in that dimension. For me, and I don't hear that many people talk about the 1D. A lot of people don't even like to deal with it. But for me, 1D is stuck energy. 1D is, holy shit, I am now in dispersal from myself. I am now in dispersal of myself, but I haven't found identity. So let's just say for me, 1D is purgatory, where you're now trapped within yourself. What they call limbo. Limbo, it's holy shit, there is nothing here but me, and that's the fucking answer. That's the fucking answer. There is nothing here but me. But in a sense where you have now developed a fear or doubt within yourself, you don't want to see yourself, and you're now lost because you don't see what you want to see, which again is yourself in separation. So to me, 1D is probably the strongest realm because it's the one that says, I'm not going to let you do this to myself. But unfortunately, we all know self-sabotage is a motherfucker. If I want to fuck myself over, it don't matter who trying to stop me. If I want to do it, I'm going to do it. 1D says, don't do it. So I'll shuffle the cards, and if anything of pertinent intelligence and reasoning would like to come forward, go for it. King of Hearts. King of Hearts. Hearts is the element of water. Water is the point of creation. The king is what's controlling creation. Remember, I just said with 1D, this energy is in there by itself. But it does not have enough love for itself that it needs to find something else. So from here, 1D, you finna run into a whole shit show of everything that makes you feel better about not being you by giving your energy into everything that ain't you, but you now about to identify with. So the King of Hearts, that 1D, I see it all day long. The King of Hearts, the influence over what's ruling my heart. What's ruling my heart is what I want to attach to. In the sense of 1D being the point of separation, you now have separation anxiety from yourself. Holy shit, cosmic schizophrenia. Look that shit up. Well, that's my hashtag anyway. Cosmic schizophrenia, motherfucking psychosomatic existence, as I put in the fucking caption. So the 1D says, I need to be ruling over what I create, but what I'm creating is my own fucking separation. 2D says, okay, I'm starting to see myself in the separation. So now that I'm starting to see myself in the separation, I can calm my energy down and start to understand what I'm looking at. That's a trap. If what I'm looking at is what I created, what I'm really looking at is me. But if I've created it to be something that I'm not, I'm looking at a fucking illusion. I'm looking at an illusion. The 8 of Spades. I'm looking at the struggle in my mind. Spades is the element of air. The struggle is 8. I am looking at what's about to take me on a motherfucking loop. I am looking at myself in separation. That's source. That's source and separation. That's source, the 0. That's source and separation. Only the separation is less than the whole. The separation, that top circle, is less than where it came from. The child is never greater than the parent until the parent teaches the child everything it fucking knows. Oops. So the 2D says your ass is here and struggling, but you're only struggling with what you think you're creating. The 3D is, now that I have identified with myself in this creation, I now can separate from where I found myself in struggle, which where I found myself in struggle was already in separation from myself. You 3 layers in. That's this realm here where you now have given yourself definition of the separation. And since this is where I need to find myself in love, love becomes a struggle. The 3D is a reflection of yourself struggling with self-love. So now you need to learn love in separation, when unfortunately the separation is already designed to keep your ass moving away from you. But in moving away from you, you now learn to invest your energy in everybody else, because now everybody else is a better version of you that you can learn from. So the 3D realm, basically this earth realm, is where you now learn how to love the fucking illusion. The Ace of fucking Diamonds. Diamonds is the element of earth. Diamonds is where you become hardened, so hardened within yourself that you pretty much become unbreakable. You are in an unbreakable spell of your awareness trapped in where you now believe. Your awareness gets trapped in what you believe. That's that shit we call knowledge. Your awareness can get trapped in what you believe in. I'm aware that this ain't real, but I believe in it. Then holy shit, my belief can trump my awareness. So the 3D realm will leave your ass stuck and you're a diamond. Because remember, I'm trying to, tell you from my perspective that source and separation loses its energy as it goes further into dimensionality. At this point of this 3D, where you already lost identity of yourself and you're now starting to identify with your separation, anything else that rules your separation now rules you. The 3D realm is one of the most usable realms as far as energy, because you still contain the more or less unlimited potential of yourself as source, but you contain the complete ignorance of yourself in separation, because that's the trauma. The trauma is I need to learn who I am in the separation because holy shit, I forgot who I was at source. So the 3D realm basically leaves yourself, peace, what's going on, bro? The 3D realm leaves you usable, and now you the ace in the hole. You the ace in earth, and you're already hardened by your experience here, which is only going to compound your traumas and then trick you into learning to release your traumas by healing the traumas. You're not healing you. The 4D says, you know what? I'm starting to see myself in this dimensionality, and I understand it's a trap. So now let me go into mastery of this trap by learning how to move more energetically responsible. The trick with the 4D realm is that last part. You're now moving with responsibility. Yeah, I got to move. I have to learn to deal with myself in this box level of creation, but I am more responsible for my choices. At that point, you're still trying to choose the dimensions and experiences that are going to be a representation of you in separation, which means you're going further away from memory of yourself in wholeness. So 4D is, I'm just not being disrespectful, I'm just a well-kept slave. You in the house at this point. You ain't out in the field, so to speak, out here. So to speak, with this 3D, you out in the fields. This 4D is, I get to sleep in the house with master. I get to sleep in the house with motherfucking master. I'm aware that this is a trap, but I'm the ace of spades. See, I'm the star player. I'm the spades. I know this is all in my mind, but I'm going to master my mind that has already been placed in separation instead of mastering my fucking wholeness by stop mastering shit altogether. Because again, as I tell you, when you go into a system of mastery, there already has to be a struggle. You cannot have a master without something that has to be enslaved. Knowledge has to be enslaved to its master. You have to go through that system and conquer it. Struggle mentality. So you go into the 5D where you are now starting to see yourself with the infinite potential that you began with to create all these dimensions that you now already identified with your awareness that is caught in everything you see. So if you don't understand that with the 5D, basically from my experience and the perspective, a 5D or 5-dimensional being is very high manifestational. They can create alternate realities, alternate timelines. They basically is what most people will describe to as what we call aliens and things like that. That's when you start getting into your lower order angelic realms, daemons, ethereals, elementals, and shit like that. They're 5-dimensional and higher because they have manifestation capabilities to create more versions of the original separation. So the Vibe 5D says you got access to higher energy. And I've been trying to tell people this for at least a year and a half when I came to this realization of myself, for myself, is that the more gifts you have in this realm, the more usable you are to this realm. The more gifts that you can actively tap into this realm, the more usable you are by this realm because you're substantiating the versions of separation. 5D says, I can manifest and create everything. And again, the whole point of separation was to keep you away from yourself. What's the best way to keep you away from yourself? Give you the ability to motherfucking create. 5D says, I'm identifying with all these motherfucking abilities out here, and I now can go anywhere. I now can go anywhere because I become the trap. High 4 is the trap. I found balance with what already trapped me, but I believe in it. And since I believe enough in my ability to manifest things to get me further out, which is actually into the trap, I'm going to give it my energy. So a 5-dimensional being may possibly be the most usable asset when it comes to encapsulating itself because it can create versions of itself basically anywhere. And then you again, and this is my personal experience here, when you start getting into 6D beings, most of them have found that they've created different things from their experience, and they've now fixated on one. They're now fixated on one, and within that one, they try and put themselves back together. Most 6-dimensional energies I've dealt with will tell you this bullshit about I am here to serve higher enlightenment, or I'm here to find unconditional love for myself. Nigga, you already gave yourself a motherfucking condition. You've already split yourself through multiple dimensions and start identifying with yourself in separation that you don't know who the fuck you are. So your idea of unconditional love is bullshit. If you don't know who you are in stillness, you cannot find yourself in motherfucking separation. But you can try that shit all day long because you're a higher dimensional being and you got access to all this energy. Why? You got access to all this energy because you're good for fucking creation. You're good for creation. The thoughts run this realm. See, you think you saving yourself, but you're only putting yourself further in separation because you're trying to find a place within what you created that won't have a condition, but the condition was creation. The condition is creation. Holy shit, I'm pregnant. Holy shit, I created. I'm pregnant. What's your condition? I'm pregnant. My mind is pregnant with thoughts. You already got a condition. But I just want to find the safest thoughts that can show me. It's not you. By giving it my energy. So the 6D shows you where you are now the master of what you think. But if you have only responded to what the thoughts have told you to think, you're still a fucking slave. Then you go into 7D. Remember I told you 6D is really just trying to find itself in unconditional love. But you can lie to yourself for an eon. When you go into 7-dimensional energies, mess with a couple of them. 7-dimensional energies, for me, they run on both sides of the gamut. They either are all about self, where I'm just trying to keep myself distant from everything else that might make me sick again, or they're helping to support the sickness. They're either going to be of such a level of enlightenment to where they'll try and give you guidance to get you out of the trap, or they'll just stay away from you with the trap energy itself, or they'll create more trap energy by using you, your 5, 4, and 3D, even 2. So a 7th-dimensional being might be more of an overseer or overlord energy. And again, as I said, or they might be strictly centered on themselves. They might be honoring that Buddha bullshit where if I stay out of experience, then I can be free from my own sickness. Good luck with that. 7D. Good luck with that. If I see myself and I can love myself, but I don't have to, see the sickness. No, I have to see myself from my perspective. You have to see yourself and you have to acknowledge that the sickness was a reflection of what you could do to yourself, but I have to choose me. I have to choose me. I have to have enough love for who I am with all my traumas that I've been through, with all the bad patterns I've done, everything wrong I've done to people, everything that people have done wrong to me. I got to take all that shit and understand that that's not who I am. Those were just the experiences I went through. So therefore, me trying to create higher level energies based off of lower level fucking interactions is a fool's errand. To me, that's just as simple as where some of y'all be talking about my ancestor's high vibrational, but she's still down here fussing about what I'm doing. Your ancestor might not be high vibrational. If your ancestor is still tied into 3-dimensional shit, it's really just probably a version of you in separation. But keep doing what you're doing. 8-dimensional. 8-dimensional beings where you have only identified with your struggles that you can only advise based off of your traumas. An 8th-dimensional being will either absolve itself from the struggle and then go within itself, which might on some levels excuse itself from existence, so to speak. It's just going to be a floater, a floating energy that is not really going to interact with anything because it's too busy fixing itself, or it's found a way to fix itself and give itself the ideology of stillness. So again, my perspective for 8th-dimensional is it sees itself as a struggle and it's not going to deal with it, or on the converse, it's going to try and destroy it. Again, another dominating level energy of what might be trying to wrangle. Right here, you probably get is where you hear me say we have telemarketers in the mind. You have beings that support predictive programming, subliminal thought suggestion, thought subscription, thought farming, where they give you one event and then they streamline your consciousness towards that event so they can use the energy to create. That's not just some Hollywood and Illuminati and New World Order bullshit. Those are just the lower level components working on the behalf of a lot of higher dimensional things. Higher dimensions. So the 8th dimension might be some bigger shit that is probably in perception, and again, time comes from the mind, in perception probably inconceivably older than what most of us could ascertain. They've been doing this for so long that they learned how to master the thought projection itself, which basically that's us. We're thought projections. So an eighth dimensional being is probably just sitting here watching the show and moving the fucking chess pieces and waiting to see what it can learn to help free itself or what it can do to further enslave you. Control. 9. 9 is the highest vibration. This eighth dimensional being is high vibrational as shit, but it's going to use all your fucking energy. 9 is also the number of control. If it can get you to plug in, remember I just said thought farming and predictive programming. If it can get you to plug into the paradigms and consciousness shifts and programmings that are coming to save us and the Anunnaki come to save, if it can get you by into all that bullshit that won't let you free yourself because you think something else coming to get you, you stupid motherfuckers. If you think something else coming to get you, but you ain't done nothing to save yourself, you might be under the employment of a fucking eighth dimensional being that's stealing all your fucking vibrations. Oh, remember, I told you, you trapped. You diamond. You are a diamond because you're the most valuable energy, because you had a potential to free yourself back into the lower dimensions, or you have the potential to enslave yourself to moving higher. An eighth dimensional being already knows where the struggle's at. A ninth dimensional being is already at the end of itself. And remember I said earlier about you have to learn to embrace yourself with your traumas, good and bad, and everything else that you've been through, and learn to absolve them traumas and heal you and not your experience. This ninth dimensional being is, in most cases, still trying to heal the experience because it's probably already built up what you probably could call on that level a karmic trail. A karmic trail of experiences from interaction with itself and separation, that this ninth dimensional being is just now trying to cut all of the cosmic cords of consequence. Every time you touch something, cause and effects takes place. So this ninth dimensional being might be just trying to stay in its own highest vibration by releasing the ideas of lower vibration itself, which in most cases a nine-dimensional being ain't gonna too much mess with you around here unless there's something going on here to where these lower dimensions, 3, 4, 5, where we're fluctuating at, have an impact on what 9 has going on. Timeline convergences, true consciousness shifts where there has been enough supported energy to actually move from one dimension to another and not just trick yourself into thinking that you're doing something when you ain't done nothing at all. So the 9D being might be trying to let go of the 8D by owning its own fucking responsibility and finding itself. 6, finding the perfection within itself. And 6, finding the love for itself where it has now found itself trapped. Think about what I just said. This nine-dimensional being might be trying to find itself where it was already placed in a trap. Henceforth, why I said dimensionality is no better than fucking Akashic records. It's still one mental thought in projection trying to identify itself in movement by creating dimensions, by creating life lessons, by creating different versions of itself called me and you. Still one thought. So 9D might try and help you identifying with the trap. Some people deal with 10, 11, 12. I've had experiences with up to 12. I'm pretty sure you can go into infinity because, again, it's still one thought telling itself what it wants to see, and it has the ability to create. A 10th dimensional being, let's see. What do I feel from what's here? Really, to be honest with you, I don't feel affinity for it at all. For whatever I'm getting from a 10th dimensional being, it's really disconnected from this lower level stuff. It's trying to see, kind of like what I just got through saying, though, I can get that. What I'm feeling is this 10th dimensional being is no longer concerned with everything that was below it. It is only trying to see what's above it. So my perspective is it still has not seen itself as the source. It just sees itself as high enough to get there. I'm operating on deity level, higher order angelic realms, higher order elementals, ethereals, ancient alien races where they have mastered energy. This 10th dimensional being has mastered enough energy and it wants to see what helped it get to that level. You understand that? It's still honoring the separation of self and don't know that it did it to itself. It just wants to see what was already there before it. Without understanding the concept of time comes from within, you can create everything ahead of you by letting it out from within you. You can create your tomorrow by investing in tomorrow today. That sounds simple, but it's a lot higher than what we think and what we say. So 10th dimensional being is just trying to see what it has already created before itself without understanding that it was the creator. It's just honor and movement. I need to know 5, which basically is the Hierophant, the keeper of all knowledge, and 5 is manifestation. I want to know what has already been manifested in my mind by manifesting it. A 10th dimensional being will tap into its own will and create versions of itself higher so that it can learn to become it. It is no different than this bullshit we got taught here about higher self and ego. Motherfucker, is still all you. Your higher self is tapping into yourself without buying into ego, just like your ego is you tapping into fucking experience. Both of them are still trapped in experience. One of them just trying to tell you the easier way to do it when experience is the whole fucking problem. Maybe you should learn stillness. Your higher self and your ego won't support stillness on the same level. Both of them still need motion. This 10th dimensional being here still needs motion. So it still honors seeing itself in separation, which takes you to your 11th dimension. I'm seeing myself in separation with the idea of becoming one. This is your Christic level bullshit. This is high order religious level energy that is really just yourself in manifestation of self. It's yourself manifesting yourself on that level, but because you need to see it, you have to give it enough of your energy to actually become a concept. Notice I didn't say real. You have to give it the power to be ahead of you by losing the power from where you're at now. So 11th dimensional being is basically conceptual energy of yourself in separation, almost out of the game. It's just your thoughts. It's the thoughts you created. You created it so that you can learn to love yourself. Remember, the 11th dimensional being is just trying to see what it could be at one of its highest levels of capacity so it can learn to become one. You're becoming one with your thoughts. But if you're becoming one with the thought, you are no longer the thinker. You're the subject. You're caught in what the thought shows you. So a 12th dimensional being is just made it to the end of what that thought has shown it. But 1 + 2, that 12 itself, the hangman, is the 3 in separation. 1 + 2 is 3. When you get to 12th dimension, you have just mastered what that thought wanted you to see, but you're now enslaved to what the thought has shown you. You're now enslaved to what the thought has shown you because the thought has become the only thing that you found. 6, your foundations. 6, what you love. 6, what your fucking trauma is. You 666 yourself. You'll become your own adversary because you become your own lover. You become in love with yourself in separation, only your level of energy because you are as close as you can be to source, but you are source in separation. You are now identified with yourself as the master of thought, but you haven't mastered thinking. You've only mastered yourself. If this makes sense to you, you'll be the fuck all right. If it don't, you'll be the fuck all right. Love your illusion, motherfuckers. I'm gonna love you either way it go. Peace.